Here's what I wish I knew before becoming a content creator. I've been on YouTube for almost 2 years now and recently hit 60K subscribers, so I'm sharing my top 7 lessons I wish I learned before I started. Ready? Let's do this. Hi my lovely people, it's Natalia and welcome back to my channel where I help you create better content and grow on social media. And today I'm trying something a little different here, sharing my lessons as a content creator. I've been on YouTube for some time now and I know this kind of content doesn't usually do as well because it's not the exciting tips or how-to tutorials that people are usually looking for, but I think it's still very important to share. These are some of the things I had to learn, oftentimes the hard way, as a new content creator, and I'll be talking about money and value and mindset and so many different things. And in the spirit of sharing and community, I felt it was important to open up about my perspective here, so I hope you'll find this useful and it will potentially prevent you from making the same mistakes I made early in my journey. Lesson number 1, stop waiting and FOMO. I wanted to get on YouTube when I was probably around 20 and I started when I was 29. So I literally waited almost a decade before I started my channel, a time I will never get back. So you've probably heard it a million times to just start, and I know how annoying it sounded to me before I embarked on this journey. After all, what did they know about my personal struggles, right? Each time I've heard just start now, I would get a visceral reaction because I felt I was not ready. And how wrong I've been. I would never be ready because there's no such thing. You can always tinker or learn this or improve that, but the truth is you can start now and advance so much faster this way because you actually practice instead of just thinking about it. And this is absolutely crucial. Theory is just theory, and without the practical experience, it will not amount to much. You need to jump in there, do the work, and learn, adjust, repeat, experiment, and keep on going despite the fear that you're not doing the things the right way. I always emphasize this, but once you start, you'll regret all those months and years when you could have been taking action. The second thing is FOMO, which stands for fear of better options. And there's always going to be a different option, a seemingly better path, a more tempting opportunity. These choices tend to paralyze us, and if there's one thing I learned is that you will never know if the decision you made was the right one. I could have focused on building a photography business, pursued an academic career in linguistics, become a food and travel blogger. All of these options are valid, but I had to stick with the one I felt I could make the most impact with. In business, you need to make a lot of decisions and hope they're the best at that moment. These kinds of decisions are not easy to make and may potentially backfire, but they need to be made in order to progress with the mission. Lesson number 2, monetize early. One of the biggest limiting beliefs new content creators have is that they don't have a big enough audience to make money. And I was the victim of the same mindset. Let me tell you, it is absolutely false. You can monetize early, and this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned on my creator journey. Why am I talking about this? Because being a content creator takes a lot of time and effort, both of which usually eat away at your free time. You will need a steady income to help you grow, and it's good to start building the foundation from the get-go. This way, being a content creator won't just be a hobby, but a side hustle or a full-on business. I know how hard it is to be a creator while having a full-time job. When I started, I had a regular 9-to-5, and it pretty much meant hustling all the time with little to no rest, and I'll be the first one to say that it's not sustainable in the long run. That's why it's good to work out your monetization strategy early on, which I had done, but thought I'm not ready to implement in full. There are many ways in which you can generate income as a content creator. You can launch your own product or service, promote it through your content, and you can try affiliate marketing, find well-fitting brand deals, rely on platform monetization like AdSense here on YouTube, launch a course, offer group or one-to-one coaching. There are so many possibilities here. Oftentimes, creators will not allow themselves to monetize because they have limiting beliefs around money. Hello, it was me. They feel like they don't have a big enough audience and they themselves are not good enough yet to make money. The quality is not yet what they envision. There's this shiny object syndrome because they may feel they don't have the best camera or the greatest interior design for shooting good photos and videos. There's so much that stops us from monetizing, but the truth is you absolutely can start early. This is something I'm still working through now on some levels because I should have just crushed those beliefs early on. I had my business offering one-to-one consultations. I was monetized here on YouTube quite quickly, but I have not launched my course or my digital products because I thought I didn't have a big enough audience. What ended up happening instead is that people were writing to me asking for a course or resources on the exact subjects I had planned, and it hasn't been available yet. Big mistake, and please learn from mine so that you don't have to struggle. My advice is to lay the groundwork first. So think of all the ways you can monetize and choose the ones that make the most sense for you and your niche. And if you're opting for brand deals, you can start by creating a really good media kit and researching the brands that you already know and love. And if you want to launch a course, find out what your followers absolutely need to know and what problems your course needs to solve for them. You can also research the best platforms to launch your course on and figure out an outline for your curriculum. There's a lot that you can do right now and build on it as you go. Lesson number 3, not for everyone. Before I started my YouTube journey, I still had the inherent need to be liked. And I think we all have that to some degree, but showing up online is one of those things that are inevitably going to challenge that need. What I learned, luckily, very early in 2021 is that my way of presenting things, creating content, or simply being myself will not be everyone's cup of tea. I know it would be great for all people to love and benefit from your work, but it's simply not possible. I've repeatedly heard my videos are too long while simultaneously being praised for the length because they're so packed with value. At the same time, I've heard feedback that it would be great if my videos could be even longer because they make for great learning sessions. What do I make of that, right? People will critique everything you do, but the key is to make sure the percentage is significant enough to take action and change something. If the feedback you receive is 98% positive, then the negative comments are not worth bothering with and you just need to learn to move on. Don't change just because Thomas said that you move your hands too much. Believe me, I've tried fixing it. It's just not going to change. Better yet, figure out your approach to negative feedback, both constructive and the not so constructive, before you even get it. This way you're ready to reply faster, you know what kind of tone works for your brand, and you'll have a framework for action ready. It helps a ton to be prepared in these situations so that it doesn't stop you in your tracks or affect you as much as it would otherwise. Lesson number 4, stick to the plan. When you create a strategy for your business, it should have enough time to flourish in action. That's why you should be there for the long game and stick to the plan. You can't expect to grow muscles after going to the gym once, right? So why expect the same results in your marketing or business in general? I see it very often when I talk to people on IG that they start something and then change direction 180 degrees next week. And believe me, I felt so tempted to, many times. As someone who's interested in so many different things, I felt I could be trying this new fancy thing that someone told me about, or maybe I should be doing more of this and that. I've definitely changed too many things at once, especially here on YouTube, so I didn't really have a clear picture on what moved the needle in that moment. If you change things up too quickly, you'll not have enough data to draw real conclusions and adjust accordingly. And by the way, more on that in a moment. All year, I've spoken to people about what they were doing in their social media, and I heard many say, shouldn't I start showing up everywhere, or should I jump on this platform now? Remember the Clubhouse craze? When you have opportunities bombarding you from everywhere, it might be tempting to jump on it and change things up, but you have to remember that your time and energy are limited. If your strategy is well developed, it needs time to grow and bear fruit. And of course, at the beginning of your journey, things will change quicker and you'll have to adapt. But if you're testing something, there needs to be a bit of build up so you can understand the true impact of your action. Sticking to the plan is the absolute best strategy you can adopt when starting out. Lesson number 5, love your data. Using data is absolutely crucial for growth, and I know I wouldn't have made it far without analyzing it carefully. In the early days of my YouTube journey, I identified exactly what was missing in my niche and what people were looking for that they weren't getting. That's weeks of research and meticulously sourced data, which have been absolutely critical to my fast growth. Was I aware of it when I started? Yes, but I definitely did not know how big of an impact it had and has on my online presence. I know analytics and data may not be sexy to look at and not as exciting as creating something, but without it, you are blind. I talk a lot about understanding your audience in my content and encourage people to talk to their clients or prospective clients to really get what they need. It's also clear to see that oftentimes people are looking for quick hacks, for tactics, instead of looking at the bigger picture first. So researching other people in your industry, talking to your audience, understanding what works and what doesn't is just as important for sustainable growth as producing content content itself. With enough data points, you'll know what to double down on in your business to reap the rewards. That's why if you have a business, start by analyzing your feedback first. And as a content creator, look at your insights on Instagram, the analytics on YouTube, or any other platform you're on. These are gold mines of essential knowledge and can really put you on the right track. I know without my data, I wouldn't be where I am now, and I also have years of analyzing still to do. Lesson number 6, do it your way. If you want to explode your online presence or your business, you need to do things differently. On the one hand, you need to analyze your competitors, do your research, and get solid insights for your business. But at the same time, if you want to stand out and grow faster, you need to experiment and do things in your own way. Say you have a yoga studio and you're similar to your competitors in what you offer, but you don't try new things like online courses, digital products, physical products, books, or even affiliate income. Your business may get to a certain point and then plateau. Being unique, be it in your offer, in your marketing, or in any other essential aspects of your business, can amplify your brand and accelerate growth. Same goes for content itself. It's good to rely on proven tactics and posts that work, but to see exceptional results, you need to do something unique. The best way to be unique is to trust your instincts and keep experimenting. That's how you find your magic. At the beginning of my content journey, I had a very vague idea on what I should focus on and what may work for my ideal audience. So I tried so many different subjects around content marketing, which is such a broad subject in general. I shared tech tutorials to help with content creation. I talked about strategy and latest tactics. I even created a 3-part series on managing email load since I've been asked about it quite a few times. Some of these ideas flopped completely, and little did I know this was exactly what I needed at that time. Without experimenting and finding my own way of approaching the marketing space, I would not have been able to identify what works. Similarly, when starting out, I didn't know exactly what my unique selling points would be, but I decided to test some of my ideas. The core ones were to offer very generous advice online in my videos and focus on no fluff content. This is how I wanted to stand out, and somewhat surprising to me, it worked. I grew faster than I expected, and I've repeatedly heard that my content was to the point, very informative, and helped a ton in a short span of time. If I decided to follow the advice to gatekeep some of the knowledge, to create repetitive content, to recycle my advice all the time, it would not have worked, even though it would potentially be better for my business and easier for me as a creator. Maybe you have very unique ideas. Maybe there is a quirky format you want to try in your content. Maybe you have a completely different approach to something that's very established but works better. Don't stop yourself from trying new things because it's not how it's done or you think it may not work. After all, a few experiments won't break your online presence, but you may just discover something unique in the process. Lesson number 7, set clear boundaries. Here's one thing about being a content creator that not many people talk about. People want stuff from you all the time. They expect it. And before I say anything else, I love this. I became a content creator because I really want to help people, but it can also be a huge burden. It can be anything from free guidance, wanting you to be available for them 24/7, expecting massive discounts, or breaching your privacy because you exist online in a public manner. And let me give you an example of a boundary I had to set early on. With a growing audience, there will be more people in your DMs asking for very specific things, wanting for you to promote something, or people in real life asking to pick your brain. And again, all of it is absolutely fine provided that you have the time for it and it doesn't go too far. When I first started, I would spend so much time in my comments and DMs talking to people for hours because I was terrified to draw a line. It became very obvious pretty quickly I had to set very clear boundaries around this. I always say I'm happy to answer a question or point someone in the right direction, but if someone expects personalized advice, very advanced strategies, or expects constant flow of guidance from me in personal messages, then that is not really okay anymore. It was very hard for me as a new content creator to set those boundaries because I truly appreciate every single member of my audience and I genuinely want to help as much as I can. But there came an understanding that, first of all, even if I wanted to, I can't help everyone through personal advice, hence all the free content I create. I always make sure to point people to the specific piece I publish that can help someone, and I also consider any suggestions for upcoming videos or posts. That being said, if someone is persistent, I explain to them clearly that I can only do so much in the comment section or DMs. Similarly to this, I also needed to decide what I will and will not do for free. No matter if you're an influencer, a content creator, a small business owner, or run a huge corporation, your time is your most precious currency. Every time you do something for free, it's taking up the space to focus on income generating activities. And of course, not everything in your business is going to generate income. And for me, I give very freely online in my content. But there will be times when people will want to cross boundaries by asking for specific advice or wanting for you to promote something for free. And in these situations, I will always say that out of respect for my paying clients or existing partnerships, I can't offer this for free. Now, tell me which lesson resonated with you the most down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what kind of lessons you had to learn as a content creator, so don't be shy and share your insights. This video is a little outside of what I normally share, so if you enjoyed it, it would be amazing if you could hit that thumbs up button so that I know it was worth creating. And now that you've heard these stories and hopefully feel inspired, make sure to watch this video next to learn how to grow organically on Instagram starting from scratch. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.